Okay, we're going to do a couple of tutorials on Muse, and I've broken them up because otherwise it'd be like an hour. And we just want to do piece by piece. So I've got Muse already open. You open it up, you can figure it out, I am sure. I also have, so we're going to start create new site. Just click. And it's going to ask you some basic questions. We're not going to start with fluid. We're going to start with fixed. I want 12 columns. I can leave this at the size it's set at and say okay. Boom. I have no page to write on. Yeah, well, what I got now is a master and a home. The master is what we're going to be working on in this video, and the next one we'll work on home. The master is the place, so I'm going to double click this, is the place where you're going to do the real basics. Everything that repeats on every single page goes in a master. Now you can have more than one master, but we're only working with one. So that's the way it goes. So we've got this is set up the right, the right size. That's where we're at. Wonderful, wonderful. And we're open all the way. Okay, so you can see there's some blue lines here. Here's the top of the page. If you want to add some padding, drag it down. I'm not. Here's the bottom of the header. And we're going to drag that down in a minute because there is no header that's 70 pixels high. I don't do that. We need bigger. Down here is the top of the footer. And if you want to, this is the stuff, basically is going to show up on the bottom of the page. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, and that's the end of the page and the footer. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a header. And we're going to do a basic color fill. And I'll show you how to do other stuff with it. So I'm going to grab the rectangle tool. Note that there's not a whole lot of tools to pick from here. We got an arrow, a crop tool, text tool, rectangle, the hand tool, the zoom tool, an anchor, and a this is for reformatting. We're not even going there. So I'm going to start up here at the top. Notice I'm inside the blue lines, and you can see I can drag it down. I want 150 pixels, and remember, I can always do this later, and I'll set that there. Keep it within the blue lines. There you go. There's my header. Now note that the bottom doesn't match, so I'm just going to click here and drag these to line up. That's my header. And apparently I got 185. Now how could I fix that? Well, if I've got that selected up here, I could type in 150. And then it'll shrink up. Then I can just drag my, there we go. Now all I'm going to do is fill this with a color. So I'm going to grab my arrow tool, click, it's selected. Here's the fill. Now this thing is tricky. Here's the colors. You got swatches and you got some flyouts and stuff like that. Okay, that's great. But if you, what we're going to show you in a minute is if you click these orange words, there's stuff hidden under there too. So I'm going to make a nice, I'm feeling kind of, I think I'll go with purple today because I'm feeling that way. It's spring. Let's do some lavender. All right, we got a lavender. Awesome. Now, this is an Adobe product, which means as an Adobe product, a lot of the key things will still work. So I'm going to click this with my arrow key, and I'm going to hold my option key, and I'm going to drag it straight down. Now, this is too big for my footer. That's fine, but I just made a duplicate of the rectangle, so I have to draw it twice. So I'll just shrink this down to here. There, it fits nicely. Now, I want to make sure this is a footer, so if I control or right-click here, just go check footer item. Boom, it's a footer. That's it. All right, so now we need to put in a title here. Before I do that, I want to show you some other things about this. So select the header. Remember I said if you click these fill words, you can put a gradient in, and I don't think I'd want my gradient that way for header, but I can change it to vertical. Not bad. You can change this opacity, and you can change the color, and you can change the position of the focal point. Like I could move this up or down, so I could make that kind of like that. That doesn't, I don't think that looks that good, but it's a choice. It's a choice. Or you just type in, I think 50 is just fine at this point if I wanted to do that. Put it back to solid. Now you have another option where you can add an image. So you can click this and go find an image. and open it. And I got part of it, so that's the original size. I can scale to fill, or I can scale to fit. Notice that if I scale to fit, I'm only getting what I got. I can change the position by clicking one of these little things here. So, you know, you might find a way to use it, but I don't want a picture. I just want a solid, so I'm going to delete. I'm going to go back here, open this up. Notice the trash can, delete, it's gone. Don't got to worry about it. So I'm just going to use my solid. Next thing, well, I need to name a title. So I'm going to grab the text tool. This is the same thing that you use in Photoshop. It's the same text tool you use in Illustrator. It's just the same text tool. That's it. So I'm going to click and drag myself out of box, and I'm going to drag it the whole way across. And I will name this, this is my website. I didn't say I was clever with names. Okay. Well, what do we know? First, it's too small. Okay. So like anything else, like Word or anything else, just select it. And up here, we've got some settings. So let's make it big enough. I'm going to make it 60. You know, even though these are numbers here, you can type something in. So don't be shy. Okay. I can change the position. I'm going to center it. Center it. There you go. I can do all kinds of stuff if I want to move it up and down. Here's all our settings here. I can add a hyperlink, which I will, and I can change the font. Now here's the fonts, standard fonts, right? And then they've got some that'll export as images. We're not doing the images thing, but what we can do is we can add a web font. So we'll just click, dialog box. Now if you have Creative Cloud, you can get Typekit. You can self-host, don't do it. And you can use the Edge web fonts, which is what we're going to do. So get started. And I can pick a font in here. I go with the swoosh. We'll go here. All I got to do is say okie dokie and get a notice, and nothing happened. Well, why? Because I haven't chosen it. So I need to go up here and I'll choose this. There you go. It's not exactly a good font, you know, but I wanted you to recognize there was a big change. I have a different font in here I downloaded. I got day one. Nice, big, fat font. Okay. I could also add, you know, a little subhead. You know, when you go and you look in, what do you call it, into WordPress, there's always that little subhead line that they have in there that explains, this is my website. It contains all my good shit. Okay, so maybe I wouldn't write that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make it a little bigger because, man, that thing is small. So I can make it a little bigger. Let's make it 20. Since it's not listed there, I got to do is select, type 20. Boom, 20. And I'm going to change it to match my font. Let's see. Dave's one. There we go. And I'm going to position it. I'll position it over. I don't want it centered. I want it lined up here because if I center, watch what happens. It goes dead center. I don't want that. So what I want to do is push it over. And you can see over here, left margin. So I could type in, that's about 150. So well, that's 1500. It was 150. Ooh, I was pretty close. So let's make it 170. See where we're at. That's pretty much it. I could have used, you know, like a guide to show me that that's pretty close. And I can fine tune it. Like I said, you can just click away at this till you get it right. And I think I'll change the color. I think I'll make it yellow. Seriously yellow. There you go. So it's easy to change color. And there we go. This is my website. I contains all my good shit. So let's double click. It contains all my good shit. So pretty easy to fix. There you go. Now I need to do a footer as well. And I'm going to, then after I do that, we'll SEO the whole thing. All right. So here we got text. Now I know that I want to do 4 columns because there's 12 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to span something about 4 columns. We can always adjust this. All right. There we go. 4 columns. And that's going to be the text I want to put in here would be the date. So it's March 31st, 20 16. All right. I'm going to do my styling, so I'll change this to my font that I'm using. I will center it, and it's way too tight on the top, so I'll use my settings up here. Here's the, if you wait, you roll over and wait, space before, and here's space on the bottom. So let's add some space, and I'm going to add, start with 10. Almost. Let's go a little farther. I'm going the wrong direction. That's about right. I'm just eyeballing. So 13, 14. Could be something different for you. All right, I got that. So now, again, I'm going to grab my arrow key. With this selected, I will press my option and drag. There you go. Drag. And then I'll do it again. And I'll get these lined up. There we go. Now, all I have to do is change what's in here. So this one I'm going to put in my copyright. So that would be Option G to get the copyright symbol. And then I'll use my last space, dodge, and the year, 2016. Yay. And then in here, I'm going to put this. You could put contact me, but the thing is, if it doesn't work, it would be nice to be able to just copy and paste that email address that I'm going to put in here to contact me. Because if you do have, we're going to set it up so it links, but if you're using like Gmail, that won't happen. So you need to copy and paste it. So I'm going to type mine in. Oops, it's Nancy D1. You think I'd know my own, right? At earthlink.net. All right. There we go. Let's turn this into a link. This is how you set all your links. So here we go. We've selected it. Up here it says hyperlinks. We'll click that in a minute to show options, but you go here and we're just type in mail to : and then my address. That looks right. Hit the return key. Instant link because it turned blue. The thing is, that blue looks pretty shitty on and the purple, so we need to fix that. But how do we fix it, Mrs. Dodge? Well, I'll tell you. Click hyperlinks, and you'll see down here it says Edit Styles, and that's the blue. And if I click it, I want the same yellow that I picked before. I happen to know it's here, but if I needed to, I could use my little eyedropper and come up and hit one of those yellows, and there you go. We got it. So that's going to change everything over. Awesome is awesome, awesome. But you can do that. The turn gray, but that wasn't what I wanted it to do. But yeah, there we go. And then we'll do the hover. We'll go black. And visited, we'll go yellow. And active, we'll do black. So it's going to stand out. I mean, it's obvious it's going to stand out. Now you can see there's some advanced settings. We don't need to do anything right now. There's the layout of the page. All right. So there we go. That is just lovely. So we've made a basic site. Now we haven't SEO'd it yet. So let's do that now. So let's click this where it says text. As you can see, text is over here. Click the options. And then you'll see that it has some style, paragraph style. We don't want paragraph. We'll click that. We want it to be an H1. So now it's H1. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Click it. And then, come on, I want this one. Click it. Click it. I'm going to change that to an H3. Okay. And then we don't need to do anything else. Now, the other thing I want in every single one of my websites, now if this was an image or another name, I would like this to link back to my home page. So I can click here and you'll see home. Go ahead and do that. It is now going to link back. That's all we're going to do right now for the setting up a master. Now, I'm going to jump back where it says website 1, and you'll see that on the home page, which was automatically created for you, if we double click that, it's set up and ready to go. If I made a second one by clicking this little plus sign, let's name this About. Okay. You'll see that it automatically puts it in. Now don't worry about the footer being here because when we add content it'll change. So that's how you get started making a master. Next thing we're going to do, next video is going to be the how to put content in. So we're done. It was fun.